panel discussion on NEP 2020 for Viksit Bharat. The National Education Policy 2020 is not merely a policy document. It's a vision for transforming education and empowering the next generation to contribute towards a stronger, more innovative and developed India. I now invite our panelists to take their seats, and I request everyone in the audience to sit back and participate. So let's get the conversation started. May I request Dr. Sujeet Masih, Principal, Apeejay School, Saket, to be on stage, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for our panelists? Next, can we have Professor Basuthkar Jagadeeshwar Rao, Pro-Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor of SGT University. A huge round of applause, everyone, for every panelist joining us on stage. Next, can we have Professor Ajay Rana, Director General, AMITY University. Can we have you on stage, sir? A huge round of applause for every panelist we are having on the stage right now. Next, can we have Mary Mahendri, Principal, GEMS Millennium School, Gurugram, on stage. A huge round of applause for ma'am. Another panelists are on their way. They will be joining in between this session. For that, a huge round of applause for our panelists who are present on the stage. Thank you so much. Tijay Gupta, co-founder and COO, Bachpan and AHPS Group of Schools. Professor Ankur Gill, Director of Operations, Swami Vivekanand Group of Institutions, Chandigarh. Tripti Tiwari, Principal, Lawrence Academy, Gulhoti, Bulandshahr. They are on their way to the event. Okay. Over to you, sir. Dr. Sujeet Masih.
A warm welcome to each one of you. Thank you for coming out here. A warm welcome to our esteemed panelists. Really excited to interact with you, to seek answers from you. So we have been hearing a lot about NEP 2020, the policy document, then the NCF that came up, and then the implementation part. As schools, we were really on a lookout for the implementation. We were devising new ways and methods. I was speaking with Mary ma'am a few minutes back, and we were all smiling and discussing and sharing that it is always good to face challenges. And that is the essence of being alive, and we keep on adapting to new things. And this policy document, as it came up, a very innovative policy document, and the implementation also is really remarkable, getting into the very base of the Indian education system. So again, we are back with the discussion on it, NEP 2020 for Viksit Bharat. That is the dream, the Viksit Bharat by our Prime Minister. The blueprint, the aligning policy, the processes, and the innovation for national growth. A warm welcome to each one of you, ma'am and sir. It is both a privilege and a responsibility to moderate this very important conversation on NEP 2020. As Dr. Rao was already saying, it is quite old now to discuss, but yes, since we talk about the implementation part and it is a rapidly evolving system, so evolution and new changes are always inevitable. So NEP 2020 in its role in shaping the education architecture of Viksit Bharat. Education at its finest has never been merely about transforming information from one generation to another. It is about preparing human beings to understand a changing world. We are talking about man-making as well as nation-building in NEP 2020. The National Education Policy 2020 represents precisely about such an aspiration. It seeks to move us from an education system that was traditionally structured about content and examination. Remember, जो हमारी generation millennials की थी, rote learning, rectification, and we would pen down everything and get good marks in the examinations. But then now, this is an era of computational thinking. This is an era of innovation, practical approach. As India moves towards the larger vision of Viksit Bharat, the question before us is no longer simply what should be our education policy be? But the more important question is, how do we translate this policy into practice? How do we convert this practice into outcomes, and then outcomes into national transformation, living the national dream? There is a beautiful line by William Wordsworth. We have heard it many a times, and it goes as such: child is the father of man. These few words carry an extraordinary message and truth for today's discussions. The India of tomorrow is being shaped in our classrooms today, and this is the eternal truth. Every curriculum that we design, every teacher that we empower, every skill that we nurture in our children, every innovation that we encourage, it enables our child to dream in some measure, and it is a type of investment in our Viksit Bharat dream. And therefore, NEP 2020 is not merely an educational reform. In many ways, it is a national building framework. But the policy document can articulate aspirations. Institutions must turn those aspirations into living dreams and realities. So this brings us to the central question to the panel: how do this policy, the process, and the innovation come together to make NEP 2020 a success? The dream that is envisaged in the policy document is converted into reality, not on paper, but in practice. We are privileged to have amongst us exceptionally distinguished panelists representing different dimensions of the educational ecosystem. We have got the schooling system with us, we have got higher education institutions with us. My question goes out first to Professor Rao, the one of the most experienced in the panelists. He has been a Pro-Chancellor and a Vice-Chancellor in SGT University, Gurugram. Professor Rao, from the perspective of higher education and institutional leadership, my question is, how can technology, innovation, flexible learning models accelerate the implementation of NEP 2020?
NEP 2020 is not just education policy, it's emancipation policy. It emancipates the minds by training them, by skilling them and making them job ready. And learning is a continuum. This process of learning is meeting technology at its closest point. So if you want to do high quality education at scale, we cannot do it unless we embrace technology very well. There are 2 or 3 very important points that NEP 2020 gets catalyzed by technology. One, we can do high quality education at scale, we can reach hinterland, we can reach all the students of the country in most of the languages that we want to. This was not possible earlier. That's number 1. At scale we can do good quality. Number 2, when the country and even the global system is suffering from lack of good teachers, I think artificial intelligence and technology can actually provide a reasonably good substitute for a good teacher. This is coming from a human teacher. A human teacher is now realizing that there is tremendous shortage of human teachers in the world. And therefore we have to embrace technology to generate human-like teachers who are interactive, who are adaptive to the slow learners in the system. That's number 2 and a very, very important point. Number 3, the resource materials for teaching and learning have to be nimble and flexible. We were all trained in traditional disciplines, but there is a lot that is happening between the traditional disciplines, which is what is called interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, etc. In these interfaces, resource material is not there. All the teachers are pre-NEP teachers, they are traditionalists. So now, if you want to prepare resource material for the future generation, that can only be done by technology. Because technology can intelligently combine traditional disciplines and can innovatively generate interdisciplinary content. In India, we still do not have high quality books for interdisciplinary courses in undergraduate schools. We are doing NEP 2020, we are already 6 years into it, we still haven't produced books, not even in English, leave about other traditional, other regional languages. So resource material for students to learn from is seriously missing. And there are no good writers available in India who can write good books. Hardly any. So where will you produce the resource material for students to learn from? Technology can do it. And technology can do it at scale and with quality. So these are initial foundational pillars, the technology come and rescue the system and do it with quality and at scale. I will elaborate in my next round. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. A really wonderful approach, I would say, but then you sent me jitters by telling that there are lesser number of trained teachers who are there by choice. This is very evident nowadays. As principals of the schools, we generally face this challenge to find an ideal candidate.
When I say teacher, that they should be passionate teachers, they should be learned teachers. They are missing.
We can very well understand, sir. But then I am happy to share that the new generation that has come up. A few days back, I was interacting with my class 12 children. And I was very happy to see that some of them vouched that they want to become teachers. This has been a big, big change. And I was really happy. My heart was so proud to hear it. Nevertheless, sir, thank you very much, Professor Saab. In technology is one side of transformation. Employability and relevance are certainly the other side as well. In a rapidly changing economy, in creating jobs that do not exist a decade ago, while simultaneously changing the skills required for jobs that has existed for generations. You are very right, spot on, Professor Rao, in mentioning that we have got pre-NEP teachers at the moment. And we want them to implement NEP and the next generation, as we say, with the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha there, and the Gen Beta also now coming up rapidly. But then I would also reassure the fact that teacher community is a very, very adaptable community, I would say. As we have got the bacteria that can adapt anywhere, I would say the teachers can adapt anywhere. You give them challenges and the teachers are rapidly changing. कहीं पे भी लगा दो आप उन्हें, चाहे आप voting में लगा दीजिए, चाहे कोरोना के टाइम में लगा दीजिए, चाहे NEP बदल दीजिए. But teacher is one of the most adaptable community, I would say. And hats off to my teachers, I would say. Thank you very much. Coming sir, now to Ajay Rana sir. He is the Director General, AMITY University, Greater Noida. Sir, my question to you is, how can higher education institutes ensure that they remain future ready and continue to offer relevant courses and programs to the students who will enter an increasingly volatile and rapidly changing job market? हम लोग जब भी बच्चों से बात करते हैं, we say to them, we were preparing them 5 years onwards. And we always tell them that the job market will change rapidly. हमने ऐसे jobs नहीं सुने थे in the schooling system, the type of jobs that exist now. So I have never heard about data analyst about 10 years back. But now data analysis with the rapidly changing data, with all the LLMs on board, with the chat GPT and other things, it is a rapidly changing scenario as far as the job market is concerned. So my question to you, sir, is how higher education institutes can ensure that we are future ready?
Thank you, Dr. Saab. In fact, I introduce myself. I'm Dr. Ajay Rana. Why I introduce myself? Our moderator have already introduced me. But I'm so fortunate that I'm the part of, during the first day when our Honorable Prime Minister launched the NEP 2020. And I'm so fortunate the part of the CBSE board as an independent director to promote this NEP 2020 not across the country but globally as well, how the outside world accept us. I'm also the key member to implement this to the higher education as well as the school education. You know the 27,000 plus schools under the umbrella of only the CBSE. Now your point is that about NEP or any other thing, because that is not a new word, but how we challenge the external world, because the scenario changes time to time. There is no job crisis in our country. Again, I repeat, there is no crisis in our country. We have a sufficient job, but we are not able to identify the skilled manpower with respect to their sectors. Many companies, thousands and thousands of companies, when the Madam Curie received the second time Nobel Prize, AI word is not the new word with respect to the current trend. During that time, Madam Curie wished that maybe sometime back, sometime maybe the coming years, machine can talk. Machine can do our life for the betterment. So it is up to us how we face the new world challenges, how we are ready to nurture our upcoming new generations. Earlier we are more thinking about Mother India. Now the thinking about the mother world. You know the entire world like in your palms, but it is up to you how to challenge with respect to the external movement. My first formula, because if you give me a half day time, I give the 1 day full time, because the professors, they have a quality. We are not the adaptable, we are like working like a catalyst. So there's the one word is that teachers, gurus, who change the entire world after the parents. When the parents give their raw materials to us, please try to understand. This NEP 2020 or NEP or SWAM, MOOC, NPTEL and others, that is about the new innovatives or the research paradigms by the government of India or the government of institutions. But how fast we adopt with respect to our day-to-day life. Everyone engaged, all models with respect to what about the future prospect is, what about after 10 years, 5 years or 6 years. Sorry, whenever you change your mobile phone after 6 months or after a year, why you are not change your mind or your approach to adopt the technology for the betterment of our society. Many institutions or the many universities, top-notch universities, as the educationist, our aim is not to promote any company. Sir, last week I have visited the one, India's the top university. But when I visit their labs, really I have not seen these labs in the Oxford as well. That type of facilities they have in our country. But I am not able to find the number of students in these labs. Because they have lab, the management invests a lot of money, but is these labs, are the end users for their betterment? No. These labs only and only for the inspection agencies. Like when the NEC or NIRF or other agencies or the QS, when they plan to visit our campuses, they will show like this. So education institution you have mentioned about, for my philosophy, I am with this 26 years back. I start my journey, government sector, then the same by the government of India, now in the education sector. Yes, youngest Vice-Chancellor in the country at the 2 times, not the 1 time. My father is not run a university, but I am the part of as a proper employee or the employer relationship. So my philosophy, my thinking is that when the parents give us the small soil particles to us, small particles to us, we nurture, combine these particles, make a clay. But what about the industry demand? Any top industry. Their demand is that we are here to produce a beautiful dolls. Sorry, that is not our cup of tea. Our area of interest is that we are here to provide a beautiful clay to the respective industry, and it is the respective industry choice to convert this clay into the beautiful product, not the beautiful doll. So I'm not able to find that there the crisis is there. There the unskilled. We have a BTech, we have the PhD scholars. Sir, last time someone asked to me, you are doctorate and I am BTech only. I have run millionaire or billionaire in the country. Yes, okay. We are doctorate. We are here to produce every year manager and the CEO and other things. But you check the credential of my owner of my group. He is a billionaire. And who create this? We create this. So we are the creators. These Tata, Birla, Reliance, Tata become a Tata. Sir, how many years? After 175 years. Reliance not become a Reliance in a 10 year or 11 year. Reliance become a Reliance after 47 years. During Dhirubhai Ambani's time, around 40 years. What about the others? They make their business for their family. But what about our generation? They create their business, not only their families, for the generation like the Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. They are the graduate and they are the well-educated person. So that is the main concern. Education institutions have not to produce the beautiful dolls. Education institution is a responsibility to produce a nurtured, skilled manpower for their respective industry. That is, and the second important, if you permit me, sir, Because my model is 3AP. 3AP model, like A means 3A is a responsibility of a management. If any owner start the university, then he or she have an expectation कि I will earn lot of money or lot of resources or name of fame in the society. So accreditation, affiliation or engagement is the sign by the management. But patent publications and about the research and about the project is the responsibility of ours. In this, you are family, because all we are the private. 85% revenue of the government of India with respect to education run by the private institutions and 15% by the government institution run. So that is, if you provide me time, then I will explain 3A or 3P, many others. But your point is that, again, we are not here to produce the beautiful dolls, okay, that you provide AI, machine learning, DL. What about after 10 years? What after 5 years? New technology may become. So we are here to nurture our kids that maybe adopt the technology very fast. If you are not, then you will lose the bus. Thank you.
Very well, Professor Saab. Very relevant points Saab has said, because the future ready, when we say, we are still not clear what the future holds for us. We can only have a brief glimpse and an idea, a vague idea. But then very well said, sir. And I can recall a very wonderful statement that education gives wings to the children. They are there to fly and soar high, and their adaptability is important. So how adaptable we make our younger generation so that they can suit to the challenges of the society and the job market that is prevailing. One more point that you strategically said, that it has become a world game rather than an India game now. I would like to re-emphasize, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam has always been there in our system. We have always looked at the world as one entity, and we have always nurtured a lot of positive things all around the world. Coming back to it, we have got Mary ma'am with us, Mary Mahendri ma'am. She is Principal James Millennium School, Gurugram. Ma'am, the question to you is, how can institutions ensure that NEP 2020 delivers equitable and inclusive, these are two very heavy words, equitable and inclusive educational opportunities across regions and diverse learning groups? And as school leaders, how can we ensure that the language of inclusion translates into actual classroom practices and meaningful opportunities for each and every child? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sujeet, and my co-panelists. Greetings to you too. In a country where we call it the world's #1 in terms of population, with almost 1.475 billion people, diverse in all aspects, right from socio-economic backgrounds, religions, caste, cultures, bringing about equity is indeed a challenge, but it's not something which we cannot reach. Subsequent educational reforms have made it possible, and I believe that children who are in the socio-economically disadvantaged group can be brought or can be provided these facilities if we ensure academic support which is brought to their level, trying to, first we'll have to measure what their need is, meeting them where they are. Equality and equity are two different things. It's not giving the same thing to everybody, but first to ensure, to find out where is the need of the learner, and then pulling up ourselves to meet them where they are. So to do this, one beautiful idea that I got is from the Universal Design for Learning, which is a teaching framework developed by CAST. And it says that not only the environment, but also the teaching methodologies will have to be designed in a manner such that we meet the children at their level, at their levels of challenges. And not only that, coming to the assessment system. Standardized assessment systems, which are rather strict, is discouraging and trying to sweep everyone with the same broom. And again, if we talk about equity, this has to be changed. The system of assessment has to be changed. We will have to design our assessment in a manner such that the learner, he or she, builds the confidence in taking the examination and feels that they are able to achieve a certain benchmark, and then, we take them further ahead from there. Number two, talking about the textbooks and the learning, the teaching that happens in the classroom. It has to be relevant to the realities that is lived by our learners. Our textbooks, say for instance, books of geography, should talk about environmental challenges of that particular geography. When you're talking about history, we should talk about the contributions of the marginalized community. We have to talk about things. Our our content should contain things that are relatable. And it is only then we will be able to strike a chord in the hearts of those learners who may not be, from cities, Tier A cities, or the privileged schools. Multilingualism that NEP has brought in has addressed it to quite an extent. Now, coming on to the proficiency of teachers, like Professor Rao said, it is sad that we do not find proficient teachers in these days, and he aspires to have human-simulated AI teachers. But that would be very heartbreaking. How could human beings, children at the end of it, human beings be monitored or handled or taught to live by machines? A human has to interact with a human. But then, how do we bring up the standard? Why can we not have a national testing agency, which creates a kind of a examination standard, something that is at the level of a JEE or an NDA? Why don't we bring up the level of, screening of candidates for teachers? Why are we ready to why are we ready to compromise on it? If we are not ready to compromise on the defense of the country, how can we compromise on education? Education, you will all agree with me, is one of the greatest potentials in order to break generational poverty. So in that case, I would also, talking about teachers, going further, I would also like to suggest licensing of teachers. Why not to have a license in order to be eligible to teach in a school? And if a teacher fails to, follow those standards or that is expected of a teacher, be it in any terms, he or she should be questioned. And then these licenses are to be renewed. Why don't we bring up some kind of a system of that sort? Once a teacher, forever a teacher, your job is kind of, ascertained. No, that should not be. Like maybe after every 5 years, there should be a test, a good rigorous test, so that teachers keep upscaling and upskilling themselves to remain at par with the growth that happens, the advancement that happens from time to time, be it in terms of technology or knowledge. Then teachers should be encouraged to do researches, present research papers. There should be incentives for teachers who, take up these challenges. Secondly, the most important aspect here, if we are talking about quality teachers, remuneration, compensation of teachers is one area that we really need to look into. I talk about a national testing test for teacher recruitment, and then if I do not bring up the compensation or the salary or the benefits or the leaves and the other privileges that we give a teacher, then these are mere words. So that's about the quality of teachers. Then going on to talk about infrastructure uplift. Infrastructural uplift is essential, and we got to see that it reaches every nook and corner of the country, for which there should be strict audits. We have things in place. A lot of improvement has happened in comparison to the times when we were students. Yet that is not enough. If a child feels unsafe, if there is attendance drop, just because of lack of access to the school, because of broken roads, because of lack of sanitation for girls, because of bullying in a school, then we need to rethink, and both the government and the private sector, I mean, we can always join hands and see how we can audit all of these schools. And finally, the digital divide. We are talking about AI. When I walked into the room, I saw there was a flip learning integrated system powered by Samsung, and it talks about automated library accession of books. You can order you can plan your menu for your lunch, all by students, and you do not need human intervention at all. Of course, all this is very ambitious and is doable, but then India has a wide range of schools, right from those A-level schools which are affiliated to foreign universities and or even to Indian universities, like foreign affiliation boards and Indian affiliation boards too, like ICC or CBSE, and then there are others who are just struggling to get a qualified teacher in a classroom. There are children out on the streets asking just for fans in their classrooms. And in such a wide in range, in such a huge spectrum, yes, it is a challenge, and we'll have to fight it out together. Not, be pointing fingers or blaming the system. Probably both the private as well as the government organizations have to come together. And on top of it, I would like to conclude by saying that education officers, school leaders must audit allocation of resources, must audit performance rates, must audit attendance. And when all of this is being tracked and analyzed, we can provide doable, productive solutions to problems. And that is how equity can be ensured. And because inclusivity is also included, I'm afraid I'm running out of time. Am I? Can I continue? All right. This is very, very essential. Yes, acts are in place. Persons with Disability Act allows people or children in the CWSN category to have free access to schools in the neighborhood. But that's not enough. Are schools really doing it? Do schools really have counselors? Do they have special educators? Now CBSE has made it a mandate in the last couple of years, but what was happening prior to that? Are they not a part of the human, demography? What about them? So it is very, very essential to train teachers how to teach neurodiverse learners. And not only them, there are children who may not be neurodiverse. They may just be in the beginning of the spectrum. They might have some learning disabilities. So teachers have to be equipped, have to be trained, have to be made diversity sensitive in order to handle all of these. And as such, both equitability and inclusivity are, like you said in your question, those are big words, but they are not unachievable.
Very well said, ma'am. Really, really happy to hear your version. And the concluding statement, I would say, it is very much achievable. I really am happy to hear it. But कुछ दुखती हुई वगैरह आपने छुई हैं अपने सेशन में. You shared that the teacher's license should be renewed every 5 years. And again, I would say, teachers are at the center of attraction always. It is the teacher community that gives a lot of CTET and other tests. It is the teacher community who has always been asked to upgrade themselves and then to appear for an examination. अगर हम में से जितने भी बैठे हैं यहाँ पे, the very term of assessment of examination sent jitters to the best of the people, I would say. Even I feel jitters अगर कोई मुझसे कहे कल आपका एग्जाम है. So now teachers subjected to 5 years of licensing, and it does not happen in any other sector. Then why are the teachers only directed for it? But this discussion will carry out later sometime. But then very well said that the schools should be ready for neurodiverse learners. Very well said. And the great differentiation, I would say, in the vast demography of Indian subcontinent, very well said that digital innovation and technology, how much it is creeping into the system, how much it is being applicable, it is really a question mark. And we as principals, we as administrators need to look into it. And if we, each one of us, can do the least minimum bit that is required, we'll get this dream convert into reality. I am very happy to welcome Shri Tijay Gupta ji. He is co-founder and CEO Bachpan and AHPS group of schools. So Tijay ji, let me begin with you. As India looks towards the ambitious vision of Viksit Bharat, the transformation of education cannot happen in isolation. It requires changes not only in pedagogy but also in the institutional structures, processes on the way we think about the purpose of education itself. And you are the perfect person. You are the co-founder and CEO of a leading group of school. My question to you, sir, is what policy and institutional reforms do you believe are needed to align our education system more closely with the inspiration and aspirations of Viksit Bharat?
Thank you, Arbor Media, for having me here. Sorry for being late. Just looking at the traffic, sometimes I think how we are heading towards Viksit Bharat. Is actually Viksit Bharat happening in education, in papers, in portfolios, or in words? God knows. But yes, government has taken a good initiative about Viksit Bharat 2047. NEP was also a good initiative. People keep on asking me what is new in NEP. NEP is already old. It was introduced in 2020. We are already 6 years past being the NEP introduced. So I think first we need to understand what NEP brings and how it can connect Viksit Bharat. So NEP brings all those spectrums of life which we were missing earlier. Ma'am was talking about, sir was talking about exams, numbers. I think first we should go away with it. There shouldn't be any fear of exams or number or any test or any preparation. Yesterday I was talking to my daughter and she said, Papa, I don't want to go to school. I said, what happened? We have a class exam tomorrow. तो जैसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, मैं बोला बेटा हमारे स्कूल में ना हमारे टाइम पे तो अगर बोलते थे नहीं जाना तो पेरेंट 2 और मारते थे. This is what is happening. And you are saying very calmly that tomorrow there is a class exam and you don't want to go. So as a noble parent, मैंने बोला कोई बात नहीं, exams are just a part of life. We are not assessing you. You know what child replies? Papa, you are not assessing me. This is what you are saying. But once the numbers come out, you will always say, why you got so less numbers? Even if I get 17 out of 20, you will ask, वो 3 number कहाँ गए? So this is what the mentality of Indian parent is all about. And our kids know it very well. So why this mentality is happening? Because till now, we are living in the world of numbers. Knowledge is not there. Numbers, medical, IIT. I think everybody is connected to all those dots. What exactly we are heading to? Same time, one more example I'll quote. It was also yesterday. One of my friends' daughter has recently gone to US. And she is in Brown University, which is an Ivy League university. The child was extremely brilliant. She got about 96-97% marks in her grade 12th. 10th, she got almost the same kind of percentage. She wanted to do PhD. Now, after already spending 4 years in US, and her mother spent almost 6 to 7 crore rupees, and she's a single mother. So they came to me to just to take my advice. Her mother is right at one point. She's saying now she wants to do PhD and she wants to do something for the world. I said, it's a good cause. Why you want her thought process to change? Where is the money? I spend millions on her. If she is there for the social cause, then where the money is gonna come? I have taken bank loans, I have taken education loan, my home is also under EMIs. So this is what we're heading as India. I'm not saying about parent is right or wrong or what advice should be given. But I was thinking यार मेरा बच्चा होता और मुझे PhD करवानी होती तो I'd be more than happy यार PhD तो कर रहा है बच्चा. आज तो बच्चे पढ़ना ही नहीं चाहते. So thinking at that perspective, is it the right direction that we are heading towards Viksit Bharat and NEP? I think yes, we are heading towards right direction. The focus should be more with the knowledge. मुझे लगता है if the knowledge would be there, money will automatically come. So our skill says to implement all these things. Now what all policies to bring? First of all, I think there should be more of a extracurricular activity based school. Where should be a skill based school that should be changed. What I'm trying to say about skills. Abhi there are 40 or 45 students in a class, typical a classroom, 35-40 students. So पहले 10 बच्चे जिनके नंबर्स अच्छे आते हैं वो 80-90% वाले दे ऑलवेज मेक अ गुड करियर, राइट मैम? ऐसा ही माना जाता है, दे ऑलवेज मेक अ गुड करियर. नेक्स्ट 10, those who want to 70-75, they will also get adjusted in the life. But what will happen to last 20 or last 10, which typically sits on the last benches? We don't want to come in the front. So I think this is what NEP brings all about. The reform should be in the practice where at least whatever their interest would be, whatever the skills they can catch. हो सकता है उनमें से कोई एक इन्फ्लुएंसर बन जाए, हो सकता है उनमें से कोई बहुत अच्छा शोरूम ओनर बन जाए, हो सकता है उनमें से कोई 2 बच्चे बहुत अच्छा बिजनेस करना जानते हो. तो आई थिंक दोज स्किल्स और दोज पॉलिसीज शुड बी अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर एजुकेशन सिस्टम or our schooling where at least the skills should be taught. When we are talking about skills, it's a collaborative effort between school, teacher, student of course and the parent also. Parent are also a stakeholder. अगर मैं बोलूँगा मैं आपके बच्चे को बिजनेस पढ़ना सिखा रहा हूँ at the school level, they might not agree. So the reform should be in that direction that all these activities could be clubbed with the skill-based mechanism of the school.
Very well said, sir.
I think I've taken too much of time and
No. You are perfectly on time, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very well said to putting it very simply in front of us that how can this dream be achieved just by relaxing a few veins that have been tightened. We welcome Tripti Tiwari ma'am, principal. She is a principal Lawrence Academy, Gulavati, Bulandshahr. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming out here and making out here. I just need a closing statements from you regarding NEP 2020, the Viksit Bharat dream, and how we turn this thing into reality.
First of all, thank you so much for honoring me here as a panelist, and good morning to all the persons present here in the hall. Sir, for the conclusion, I just want to state that when we are talking about National Education Policy 2020, so we always remember Dr. Kasuri Ranjan, the one who was very eminent scientist, and he has drafted the National Education Policy. What I believe, because time is also very less and I'm late, so sorry for that. So when, as an educationist, I have worked in the international schools also, and right now I'm working with the Gulavati and their Bulandshahr. I'm from Varanasi, so I have seen the major changes between the children, the one who is with the international schools and the one who is in the interior part of the India. So National Education Policy says the totality. When we are talking a holistic development of a child, the inclusion of an Indian educational system, and if we little bit go in the Ramayana and Mahabharata, so as a conclusion part, I just want to say that in Ramayana, when we have seen that Ram was getting education from Guru Vasishtha and Vishwamitra, where Guru Vasishtha was teaching all the archery and different kind of skills, and where the Vishwamitra was teaching the spiritual knowledge. So holistic development of a child, where we are saying सर्वांगीण विकास, तो वहाँ पर हम देखते हैं कि नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी को अगर कॉम्प्लिकेटेड ना करें तो ये देखें कि बच्चे का ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट, जहाँ से बच्चा सीख सकता है, जहाँ से बच्चा पनप सकता है, जहाँ से बच्चे की स्किल्स डेवलप हो सकती हैं, और यही इसका पूरा रूप है, यही इसकी पूरी मीनिंग है कि बच्चे को कैसे, बिकॉज नाउ अ डेज द चिल्ड्रन आर लिविंग इन द न्यूक्लियर फैमिली, अर्लियर द चिल्ड्रन वर लिविंग इन द कंप्लीट फैमिली. So where the wholesome learning was there, right now it is a holistic teaching the teachers are giving. So more or less the teachers are also overburdened. In interior part we can see the trained teachers are not there. The shortage of a training is missing. In international school everything is there. The teachers training process is also there. Teachers are getting a lot of trainings to teach everything to the children. But in interior belt of the India, so it is when we want to give a success for national education policy, it is very important to see the problems also that how national education, to make the successful plan of national education policy, it is very, very important to go into the depth, because as a part national education policy mandate the inclusion of Indian knowledge system and ethical reasoning to foster constitutional and cultural values, which is very, very important for the children.
Very well said, ma'am. Very
So
well
this
said.
is-
And मैम ने बहुत simply समझा दिया हमें कि that in education NEP 2020 nothing to worry about. It is simply about man making and nation building. That is the essence of it. Thank you very much for bringing to light,
Thank you,
ma'am. We welcome Professor Ankur Gill ji. He is Director of Operations, Swami Vivekanand Group of Institutes, Chandigarh. So welcome on the panel, sir. And I would request closing remarks from you regarding NEP, the Viksit Bharat ideology, and the higher institutions. How do they help to create this dream into reality?
So very good morning everyone, and very sorry I got late because I start my travel from Chandigarh in morning 4 a.m. but lots of traffic in Delhi, I got late. So for this closing remarks, actually हम सबका सपना बहुत अच्छा है विकसित भारत का, लेकिन विकसित भारत को अचीव करने के लिए सबसे पहले हमें अपने माइंडसेट को चेंज करने की ज़रूरत है. बिकॉज अब एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन को और इंडस्ट्री को एक साथ काम करना होगा, ये कोई चॉइस नहीं है. नाउ इट इज़ नीड ऑफ द टाइम. अब इंडस्ट्री को हमें अपना पार्ट इस तरह से बनाना है कि वो हमारे आउटकम को लेने के लिए हमारे साथ रिलेशनशिप बिल्ड करें, तब काम नहीं चलेगा. हम जनरली इंडस्ट्री को अपने कैंपसेस बुलाते हैं जब बच्चा 7 सेमेस्टर में होता है और हम उसको बोलते हैं हमने ये तैयार कर दिया, आप इसको लेकर जाइए. और लेकिन अब ये अप्रोच बदलकर जब हम अपना करिकुलम डिज़ाइन कर रहे हैं, व्हेन वी आर स्टार्टिंग अवर इनपुट, हमें इंडस्ट्री को उस इनपुट का पार्ट बनाना पड़ेगा. और विकसित भारत बनाने के लिए एक और बड़ा माइंडसेट चेंज करना पड़ेगा कि हमें अपने बच्चों को आज कॉरपोरेट एक्सपीरियंस लर्निंग अपने कैंपसेस में देनी पड़ेगी. ऐसा नहीं है कि बच्चा 4 साल बाद उस एनवायरनमेंट को फील करे. हमें वैसे सेम अप्रोचेस अपने कैंपसेस में डेवलप करने होंगे, वैसे सेम एनवायरनमेंट लाइक कॉरपोरेट हमें अपने कैंपसेस में वो प्रैक्टिसेस लेकर आनी होंगी. दैट्स द ओनली पॉसिबल वे आउट कि हम बच्चों को ज़्यादा कॉन्फिडेंट बना पाएंगे, उनको कॉरपोरेट रेडी बना पाएंगे. और विकसित भारत सिर्फ कॉरपोरेट रेडी बनाने से विकसित भारत अचीव नहीं होगा. हमें अपने बच्चों को ऐसा बनाना है कि वो जॉब क्रिएटर बने, जॉब सीकर ना बने. एंड जब तक हमारे बच्चों का माइंडसेट जॉब क्रिएटर की तरफ नहीं जाएगा, तब तक विकसित भारत को अचीव करना बहुत मुश्किल है. सो दैट्स माय क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स एंड थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Very well said. Just for the closing, there is one common point that emerges out of the discussions today, and I want to reiterate these points. The policies will provide us the direction. Institutions, as you rightly said, both Rana ji and Gupta ji, that institutions will provide the structure. Teachers will provide the inspiration, as rightly said by Mary ma'am. And technology will provide the tools. और सबसे important मैम जो तृप्ति मैम ने बोला, the child will remain at the center of everything. So really good leaving this stage on this statement. The child will always be in the center of the stage and will be the center for all the institutions, for all the teachers and the professors. Thank you very much for coming out here, taking time out, and thank you audience for being such a patient listener. Thank you very much. May God bless each one of you.
I now request Kumar Chandan Anand sir to felicitate each of our eminent panelists as a mark of our appreciation and gratitude for their valuable presence. May I request Kumar Chandan sir? Thank you so much, sir. May I request Professor Basuthkar Jagadeeshwar Rao, Pro-Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor of SGT University, Gurugram. Can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? Dr. Sujeet Eric Masih, Principal, Apeejay School, Saket, New Delhi. A huge round of applause, everyone, for him as well. Next, we have Professor Ajay Rana, Director General, AMITY University, Greater Noida. Next, we have Tijay Gupta, co-founder and COO, Bachpan and AHPS Group of Schools. A huge round of applause, everyone. Next, we have Professor Ankur Gill, Director of Operations, Swami Vivekanand Group of Institutions, Chandigarh. Next we have Mary Mahendri, Principal of GEMS Millennium School, Gurugram. Next we have Tripti Tiwari Ma'am, Principal of Lawrence Academy, Gulahati, Bulandshahr. Let's make a huge round of applause for all our panelists, everyone. Thanks for showering us with the greatest of words. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to all our panelists. A huge round of applause for everyone.